Hey everybody, welcome to Gameplay Interviews. My name is Ben Worley and I can't get people to hang out with me. So I use video games to entice them. And today those video games have come to me in the form of my good friend Devin Destrade.
Hi.
And his Nintendo Switch.
Yes.
Which is what we're playing. We're playing Zelda.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, which is like extremely big right now.
Yeah. I just read earlier today they sold 924,000 copies in March.
What the heck?
And 400,000 copies for the Wii U. So that's easily over 1 million copies altogether. And they've actually sold more copies of Breath of the Wild for the Switch than they have Switches.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't. I think a lot of it was people, because the Switch is in high demand, but the game has been produced faster than the Switch has.
Huh. What are you doing? What's the goal of this game?
Oh man, it's have fun, honestly, but you wake up not knowing anything. You've lost your memories. You've been asleep for 100 years. And you hear the voice of supposedly Zelda in your head saying, you know, hey, come save me. I'm fighting Ganon. And you find out throughout the game. I haven't actually beat it yet. I'm about 2/3, maybe half the way through. My inventory is perpetually full because I'm a hoarder.
Me too. In most games.
Yeah. Essentially, it's you have these 4 large beasts which were created by the Sheikah tribe 10,000 years ago that are supposed to help you fight Ganon. But in the fight with Ganon 100 years ago, you were hurt badly and Ganon took over the divine beasts. So you spent 100 years recovering in essentially a sensory deprivation tank where you were asleep to wake up, free the divine beasts, kill Ganon.
Right.
That is the very, very broad strokes version of what is going on.
Wow. Huh. So, where are you from, Devin?
Oh, all over. Mostly Middle Tennessee.
You were born?
I was born in Japan.
Whoa.
You knew that.
I didn't
Come
know
on.
that.
You did not know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was born in Japan because my dad played baseball.
Cool.
He got traded to a team in Japan for a time. And then, being half Cuban, spent the early years of my life in Florida. But since I was 6 or 7, I've been in the Franklin area,
Right.
Franklin, Tennessee area.
And now you've always been my go-to friend for all nerddom.
Well, thank you.
And it's a compliment.
No, I take it as one.
And especially you used to work for Best Buy, and I would pretty much only buy from you. I would always be like...
I loved that. That was Best Buy had its ups and downs, and a lot of downs, but one of the big ups was always, you know, if people needed things, I would always love to be the one that, you know, oh, you don't need that, here's the cheapest way to get this.
Yeah.
Here, let me get you, you know, what I can here and there.
Did you work for Geek Squad?
Yeah, for about half the time I was at Best Buy, I was at Geek Squad.
I imagine that's some kind of living hell.
Yeah, pretty much. a lot of terrible stories involving that.
What's a good one?
Oh man, some of them were gross. Some of them were just really annoying. I will tell you the gross one because
gross one,
and it involves one of my best friends, Tyler. So we had a lot of regulars, people that, you know, that just didn't know how to use computers. And they would come in, you know, oh, my email's not working, I need to reset my password. And we would do it for them. It wasn't a big deal. But we had this one guy who would come in just about, I would say about weekly, if not every 2 weeks or so. And he had this gross HP laptop that was like covered in just like grime. Like he was and I don't want to be mean to him. He seemed like he had some kind of mild disability.
Right.
Like he was able to drive, which means he's not, you know,
right,
crazy, but you know, he wasn't, he looked like he had some kind of disability. And so he would come in and, you know, the first thing I did was I pulled out a mouse and keyboard and plugged it in his laptop so I wouldn't have to touch his laptop.
Right. Oh, God, my dog is right there.
Hi, Poochie. And so I plugged in a mouse and keyboard so I didn't have to touch it. And as I worked with them, it was a basic, let me fix your email for you.
Right.
And as I worked with them, I started to smell just something gross. No. And I've come to realize, looking back on it, that smell is ammonia.
Oh.
And we worked together for a while, and he's an elderly gentleman. And
right.
when he left, the smell stayed. And so I went around. No. I was like, something in this area. So I went around and I looked across the counter at the ground where I was standing, and it was just like soaked in what appeared to be a large amount of urine.
Oh no!
And it was swiftly at that point that I was like, "Hey, Tyler," who was my boss at the time. I was like, "So this has happened, and that's way outside my range of work. I'm going home for the day. I think that's enough." Like, I had a few more hours left, but I was just like, "Listen, that's gonna be enough for me today. Like, that's gonna be the end of where I am."
Oh, you're gliding.
Oh yeah. Super.
Oh
super
man, that was great. And
yeah.
Now you're an IT guy.
Now I do less customer centric, more like data center centric work. So it's a lot of making sure that the data center doesn't burn.
What is your spirit animal?
What is my spirit animal? Oh, I just died. Oh no, I'm alive. Okay.
Oh, you landed in the water.
My spirit animal. My favorite animal is the otter. My spirit animal...
That's mine.
I will probably go with bear. Just because... and just because to my niece and my little siblings, and now my nephew, I have a new nephew. He's a couple weeks... No, he's like a week old now.
Oh.
But to all of my younger relatives, I am whatever I am to them, bear. So like to my little half-sister and half-brother in Florida, I am Brother Bear.
Right.
And to my niece, I am Uncle Bear.
Nice. That's adorable.
So, if people are listening to this, I am a large, hairy, brown person. So it tends to coincide.
Yes.
So yeah, so I would probably say my spirit animal is probably closer to a bear, but my favorite animal just in the kingdom is an otter.
That's my spirit animal.
Is an otter?
Yep.
Yeah. I can see that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What's the goal of this game?
Oh man, it's have fun, honestly, but you wake up not knowing anything. You've lost your memories. You've been asleep for 100 years, and you hear the voice of supposedly Zelda in your head saying, "Hey, come save me. I'm fighting Ganon." And you find out throughout the game. I haven't actually beat it yet. I'm about 2/3, maybe half the way through. My inventory is perpetually full because I'm a hoarder.
Me too. In most games.
Yeah. Essentially, it's you have these 4 large beasts which were created by the Sheikah tribe 10,000 years ago that are supposed to help you fight Ganon. But in the fight with Ganon 100 years ago, you were hurt badly and Ganon took over the divine beasts. So you spent 100 years recovering in essentially a sensory deprivation tank where you were asleep to wake up, free the divine beasts, kill Ganon.
Right.
That is the very, very broad strokes version of what is going on.
Wow. Huh. And who is your... Oh, what's your favorite movie?
Well, I mean... Surely you saw what happened today.
Oh.
They released the new Star Wars trailer.
Which, did you like it?
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't the biggest fan of it.
Really? No, I'm
excited for the next trailer. I mean, I love the movie. I'm going to love the movie, but I just generally don't really care about the whole, like, learn to use the Force, bro.
Oh, see, I eat that up.
I like the just, like, blowing shit up. And,
oh, no. I'm all about the meta. I've read... So, like, aside from video games, Star Wars is probably my other... Star Wars and Dungeons & Dragons are my other big nerd kicks. I love the whole learn to use the Force, learn to do all the things.
Right. So you're very excited about it. So that is your favorite movie then, I guess, right now? Or you're looking...
It's the most important movie to me.
Oh, there you go.
That is the best way to describe Star Wars. Because, like, Star Wars...
is arguably not necessarily the best filmmaking ever.
Yeah, I fully grasped several years ago that Star Wars is not the best movie on the planet. Star Wars is
very important.
Very important to me. And it helped me form an important relationship in my life, which is my stepdad. I did not like him when he first entered my life.
Right.
I was 6 when he married my mom, and I was not a big fan. And a memory that stuck with me forever is we were in my cousin's pool. And, you know, I was still, my mom and my stepdad had been married for a couple of months, and I was still really standoffish about it. And he asked me, he said, have you ever seen Star Wars? I was like, I have no idea what Star Wars is. And so on the way home, he picked up the box set of 4, 5, and 6. We sat down and we watched them all. And from that moment on, we had this like crazy bond of, oh my God, I love Star Wars.
Right.
And that was why Star Wars is so important to me. I love Star Wars for Star Wars. It's not only that I have this memory, but that is the formative reason of why Star Wars is important.
Well, that's really nice.
Yeah.
What deodorant do you use?
I changed literally today.
You really?
No joke. I've been using Old Spice Fiji for 3 years.
Really? That's what I was using.
And today
I switched to Sport.
I switched to Dove for men.
Ooh, you're like a dad now.
I know. I feel like one.
I smell like one.
I smell like one.
So, Devin, one of my favorite things about you is that you are the dungeon master for a D&D club.
I am.
For 5 guys, right?
4. It's
4
me,
guys.
me and 3 others. I'm about to join. I won't be leading it. I'm about to join a second group of 6 guys.
Walk me through the process of being a dungeon master.
Man,
because a lot of people don't really understand what Dungeons and Dragons is, and it's really cool. And
it's pretty much 100% improvisation.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of planning, but it will always go wrong.
Right.
You can. So, like, for example, my group this past week, or for the past 2 weeks, they just got to a new city. And in that city, I intended for them to meet a bard who was going to request of them to go through a dungeon and bring the bard back a set of really nice pipes that he would use to win over the woman of his dreams.
Right.
And they were supposed to meet him at this one tavern that I made really attractive. I was like, hey, you know, like I'm telling him about the city. I'm like, hey, there's this like store you can go to. There's this little fighting pit, and there's this like really, you know, well renowned, and like everyone that walked through the city was like, oh, you should go to Anchor's bar. You should go to Anchor's Tavern. Oh, Anchor's is gonna be great. Like, oh, they've got the best sandwiches. Oh, they've got the best beer. And they were like, no, we're going to the fighting pit. I was like, all right, you're going to the fighting pit. You go, and they spent like days at the fighting pit. And I could not get them to go to Anchor's.
Go get a damn drink.
So I had to make up on the spot in order to like further the story that I had pre-made.
Right.
I had to essentially just be like, all right, so you're celebrating your victory in the fighting pits, and you meet a bard who comes in, and he's also a victor in the fighting pits, because like in the city I made, which took way more planning than I want to divulge, literally hours of drawing and writing. Like there's a small, like little, kind of like a green room / bar in the back of the fighting pit where people who have won can go and enjoy a drink, and it's called the Victor's Lounge, but it's also run by a guy named Victor. I thought that was mildly clever.
That's really funny. Victor's Victory Lounge.
Victor's Victory Lounge. And so that was, you know, and so I had to, you know, retcon that this bard they met is also a victor in the fighting pits, and so he came in for a drink, and he knows a couple of the people, and that's how I had, you know, it's just figuring out how you're going to incorporate all of the things you've planned into a real story.
Right. Well, I've told you about Hello from the Magic Tavern.
You mentioned that. To it. I should. I've been,
and they have a side, like a spin-off called Offices and Bosses. My friend Ryan DeGiorgi produces the show, and there's just so many great. It's a genius podcast, but it's it's like they do this whole thing where it's basically D&D, but it's they're in a fantasy world pretending they're in a human world. Like, so it's the reverse.
Yeah.
So it's called Offices and Bosses.
I've seen that.
So stupid, but it's so cleverly written. The way that like the game is structured. And, you know, they all have boring names like Dan Smith and stuff. But that's my favorite thing about Dungeons and Dragons is being a player. Like, you get to create your own character and you get all the stats and figure out your ranking and your, you know, all that stuff. That's so fun to me. I love that stuff.
Yeah. And it's one of those things like you rarely get to express all of the thoughts that go through your head. Like as people in a real world, we have to say, you know, oh, I can't, you know, you see things in your everyday life that you can't act on.
Right.
And in Dungeons and Dragons, you don't have to have that restraint. Yeah, like if you're playing a mildly serious game of Dungeons and Dragons, you want to have some restraint, but like you get to cut loose and be crazy and be someone else, and you just get to do all these things that, you know, if you have a decent imagination, it feels like you're really doing them.
And is your Dungeons and Dragons campaign world, is that taking place in a medieval time, or is it sort of timeless?
It's
like, are there futuristic tendencies? Because I know, like, I've heard and read people do Dungeons and Dragons where it's kind of like sometimes they'll be in a futuristic world, sometimes they'll change it up just for fun.
Yeah, no, and so like the second group I'm joining, we're actually doing a role play in the role play for Warhammer 40K.
Oh yeah,
and so it's called 40K because it's 40,000 years in the future. It's super like dark gothic sci-fi.
Yeah,
but the game I'm playing with the other guys right now is very traditional Dungeons and Dragons.
It's awesome. Who is your character?
I'm the dungeon. I don't have.
But do you have one? Have you made one?
I have made several characters in my life.
So what are they? What are some of them?
So like the last time I played the Warhammer 40K roleplay, I had a tech priest who they're essentially religious zealots who believe in replacing most of their body with robotics.
Ooh.
His name was Locutus, named from when Captain Picard from Star Trek was taken by the Borg. He was Locutus of Borg. So I you know, a little bit of copyright there.
Yeah, but, genius.
So I named my tech priest Locutus, and he was very, shall we say, conservative in his thinkings. He didn't have a lot of patience for people doing anything he thought was wrong. He was very shoot first.
Yeah. Huh. I love that. I would love to see like a Dungeons and Dragons that takes place in either a Star Trek or Star Wars universe.
So the beautiful thing about like role-playing games is most people like they hear Dungeons and Dragons and they go, oh,
nerd stuff,
and they think, you know, dragons and bards and stuff. But like if you say role-playing game,
right,
most people also think Dungeons and Dragons, or they think like, you know, role-playing video game.
Yeah.
But there are so many role-playing games that take place in other, like Dungeons and Dragons is obviously built for a medieval setting. That's just the way it was built, and you can alter that game any way you see
pretty
fit.
Easily, not hard. It wouldn't be hard.
Star Wars has an official role playing game.
They do.
Yeah. Star Trek has an official role playing game.
Ooh, you know what I would want to do? I would want to do a role playing game that takes place in the Alien universe.
Oh, that would be
so cool. Oh man. Yeah, we just created a game.
There are.
We just created it.
A lot of horror. Role
like,
plays that you could adapt to work like that.
To work like for Alien, and like, oh man, Caroline loves that movie. Weirdly, she doesn't like any movies like that, but Alien, she's like, yeah. She's like, I want it. Like, if we were watching it the other day, she's like, are we gonna see it eat people? And I was like, I don't know why. And she goes, I want to see the bodies. I want to see what happens to people when they die. And I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? But yes. Well, anyway, that dude. Oh my god, an Alien role playing game. So I really want to come. At some point, I would really love to come record a D&D game.
Yeah, I'll talk to you guys. I think the D&D group would be the most open to that. Yeah,
because people really don't know what it's like to play those games.
No,
and I've only done it a lot of really good examples.
My favorite example, like especially like, hey listeners, you should definitely go watch Critical Role.
Yes.
This is not a plug, but
It's
like
a plug.
it's
You
a
should
plug.
plug it.
The reason I say that is because it's the best. It is the best case scenario for Dungeons and Dragons. It is pure Dungeons and Dragons. It's not, oh, we're gonna they're silly because all Dungeons and Dragons games are silly. They're all about having fun. It's not about winning. It's not about oh, I want to kill the most people. It's about having a good time and having fun.
Right.
But in that, Critical Role is a bunch of voice actors, so they're all really good at playing their characters in a voice-only setting. Because it's essentially, you're doing the voice, and you're crunching the numbers for your character.
Right.
And if you're playing Dungeons & Dragons, you should be doing voices, or at least, if you can't like throw your voice into a different character, you should at least be behaving like your character.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, you would recognize some of the people, like if you're a Warhammer fan, the guy that voices Illidan Stormrage from Warhammer, or not Warhammer, Warcraft,
Right.
like Blizzard's World of Warcraft and stuff. From Overwatch, the guy that voices McCree is the Dungeon Master.
Right.
They've got just a huge, like, stars you wouldn't know because they're mainly voice actors.
Right.
But they play the game, and they are a group of people who had been playing the game for years in the same group before they started streaming it online. And as they streamed it online, everyone started to realize, holy cow, this is what Dungeons & Dragons is. It's not just like, I like to roll a d20. Like, it's not like a bunch of nerds singing. It's a bunch of people who, like, half their cast is girls. I mean, like, it has nothing to do with, like, who you are or what you are in your real life. Like one of the guys that plays in my D&D group works for SpaceX, and he's like a really successful engineer. One of the guys is a teacher. One of the guys, like, it's not just like, oh, I work in IT, or I'm a video game designer and I also play Dungeons & Dragons. You can do, like, it's for everyone. I genuinely think just about everyone can have fun playing Dungeons & Dragons, and they probably should. Like,
how do you get it? Do you just order it?
So there's a lot of material online that's not strictly, I don't know if I would say not strictly legal, but not strictly, like, official. So like, you don't have to, because the books are expensive. I bought all the books. There's 3 major books for Dungeons & Dragons, the 5th edition, which is the current version of Dungeons & Dragons.
I like the vintage stuff. I love reading the old stuff.
The vintage stuff is good. The store Outer Limits over on Royal Oaks, they have the original D&D set for about $20. It's the whole starter set. You get the core rule book. You get dice. And you get a little Dungeon Master's foldable thing. But, like, if you want to buy all the books, I think I spent $120 on all 3 major books.
Nice.
Which is a little bit of a price barrier for some people. But, like, if you can afford printer paper and a couple pencils and some kind of electronic device to look up material for the game, you can play Dungeons & Dragons.
That's pretty expensive.
Oh.
Let's build me a character.
Let's build you. Oh, I'm all about that. I genuinely think you would be a bard.
I think mine would be that, like, something like either I'm hiding my lineage.
Oh yeah.
Or I'm hiding because I'm either from a famous family, but I don't want anyone to know that. Like, I used to be like a rich kid.
Kind of like the king he puts on sackcloth.
Yeah. I used to be. I'm a prince. I'm heir to a throne, but I don't want anyone. I just want to be a regular dude, and like I'm like constantly trying to fit in, but I'm terrible at it.
Oh, you're really bad because you've never been around poor people. Like, you don't know how much things cost.
Let's go roll in some dirt.
You're like, oh, hey, how much for that magic sword? And they're like, like $5,000. You're like, oh, that's like, do we have $5,000? You don't know how much money. It's like, what do you mean you don't have a butler to buy things for you?
What say we starve today, fellows? Yes, that's what we do. Hey, fellow peasants.
Yeah.
Anyway, or that, or like
back,
maybe
like, straight up, and everyone else is like hunched and
that, or even I like the idea of like a girl that has to masquerade as a man.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's always really
for gender
fun.
stuff because she won't be accepted as a girl.
I've seen that once before in a.
That's
in a
a good
campaign.
one. I like.
I
that
wasn't
one.
a part of that campaign.
And as a dungeon master, you could like really make it hard to hide it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard to hide, especially like when you consider think about like it's like Lord of the Rings style. You've got a group on a mission. And so you're spending you're in the game. You're spending night and day with these people. How do they not discover, know, who you are underneath your armor?
Yeah. Let's do some Mary Boff kills.
Okay.
Great. Belle, Pocahontas, Little Mermaid.
Belle, Pocahontas, Little Mermaid. I would hit Little Mermaid. Come on. I'm not going to live under the water.
With
not
legs.
Either way. And then
What the hell is that thing?
I would kill Pocahontas because I'm an American.
Well, you're also kind of... What are you?
I'm a Cuban, yeah.
So you're not an Indian.
And half
so you
white.
you can kill people.
Yeah.
You can kill Indians.
Yeah.
You can kill the
The
Indians.
white half of me is really good at killing Native Americans.
What is that, a Karak?
Yeah. It was a Karak. And
Thing's ugly.
little leaf people.
Let's do some would you rathers. Would you rather be the funniest person in the room or the most intelligent?
Funniest.
Would you rather have a Lamborghini in your garage or a bookcase with 9,000 books and infinite knowledge?
Oh, bookcase, period. I hate
Yeah.
Lamborghinis.
Yeah,
and
seriously.
I love books. I've been listening to books recently.
Yeah.
I listened to 56 books in 2016.
I thought you were about to say 50 Shades of Grey.
Listened to 50 Shades of Grey 56 times in 2016.
And I was like, you need to not do that.
Yeah.
Would you rather reverse one decision you make every day or be able to stop time for 10 seconds every day?
Ooh.
10 seconds isn't much. You can't really
10
do
seconds isn't much. No, I would reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah, one decision.
See, do-over button. Would you rather win $50,000 or let your best friend win $500,000?
Oh, I get 50, my best friend gets 500?
Yeah.
Oh, 500,000.
Because then,
50 is nothing.
yeah.
50 is like a year of living easy.
Yeah.
Maybe. My friend getting $500,000, like, depending on the
give you
friend,
50.
he could just give me 50. But even if there was a stipulation of they can't do anything for you, like, I would have way more fun being friends with someone that has $500,000 than having 50,000
True.
myself.
Yeah. Would you rather run at 100 miles per hour or fly at 10 miles per hour?
Oh, fly.
Fly, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's stupid. That was.
That's a super easy question.
Would you rather continue with your life or restart it?
Oh, I'd restart it.
What?
Yeah.
Well, like, how do you mean? Restart it with memory?
If I could restart it with 10% of what I know now, I would restart it.
I think it would be without. You don't know.
I would still do that. It's not that I have a lot of regrets or anything in my life. It's just that
When are you going to get to do that?
it's at this point in time, there's a lot of things I would like to do, to have done that I missed the opportunity to do. And I would hope that second time around I'd have some kind of intuition second time around that I should definitely do this.
Would you rather be able to perfectly talk your way out of a situation, any situation, or punch your way out of any situation?
Talk, man.
Really?
Yeah.
You could just
I like boxing. I helped my friend get ready for a boxing match he had a while back, but just being good at talking is probably one of the most universal skills in the world.
Right.
You can do anything if you can talk well.
Nice. Would you rather be alive in the past or the future?
Ooh, future. Yeah, future.
What was the one I did? Oh, would you rather have taste buds on your butthole or poop through your mouth?
I'm going to say poop through my mouth because I feel like I could manage, I could figure something out to make that not terrible.
Yeah.
Whereas, having taste buds on your asshole would always be terrible no matter what.
It would always be the worst.
You would always... Did that little emu just, knock me down a hill? Get up. Oh, my goodness. You're dying. Get back here.
You go kill that emu.
I'm going to kill that emu. Oh, it disappeared.
So,
Okay.
wrapping up, you feel free to brag about yourself or plug something or tell us what inspires you or give a quick word of advice to our listeners, whatever. Wrapping up.
Word of advice. Do what's fun. Right now, work is really monotonous.
Right.
But I enjoy it because it allows me to do things that I think are fun. I can write at work for D&D that I play on the weekends. Right now, D&D is more important to me than most people would think is healthy. But, it's fun for me, and I think the most important thing you can do in your life is have fun.
Well, and with those words, we leave you. Devin, thank you so much.
Thank you,
and
Ben.
Viewers or listeners, please get ready because we're playing some D&D.
Yes,
with
we are.
Devin Destrade. D&D with D.
D&D with D-E-D.
D&D with D-D.
Oh, man.
Devin, thanks so much. Thanks for bringing Zelda.
Thank you.
And
Oh, that's weird because my dog's name is Zelda, and I was like, I didn't bring my dog.
Gameplay.